People who have reached a 9 or 10 on the pain scale, what happened?
Had a CAT scan at 36. They gave me 4 contrast fluid. Told me I might feel like I had to pee. No big deal. Make sure to hold still. Put me in the machine. Within a minute, I started feeling warm. As they started the scan, I started breathing heavily. Then I started screaming. It felt like my entire body was on fire, every nerve. They were confused and freaked out. Got me out and sitting up, but it wasn't until a nurse gave me a shot of Benadryl that I started feeling better. Turns out I had a full-body internal allergic reaction to the contrast media, which contained iodine. Never happened before. Worst feeling of my life.
Trigeminal neuralgia. It feels like every bone and tooth in my face has been crushed and shattered. I've got a high pain tolerance from a lifetime of nerve damage from scoliosis, but TN pain had me truly wishing for the relief of death. Absolutely nothing gave me any relief whatsoever, and I was begging to just be sedated.
Ruptured large intestine. Morphine helped a lot.
Ovarian cyst burst.
Tried to give birth normally, and after hours of labor and hours of pushing, something felt horribly wrong. Then it felt like the worst pain imaginable. Ended up having an emergency C-section, but something went wrong with the drugs, and I could feel the incision. My uterus had literally burst. After closing, the doctor was checking to make sure my uterus was solid, and it had multiple other tears. I almost bled out. The doctor cried, telling my boyfriend what had happened.
I have thankfully been exceedingly lucky in not gravely injuring myself. However, the most egregious amount of pain I've ever been in was getting stung by a stingray. Wasn't paying attention and moving quickly through shallow ocean and felt a slice. I thought I'd stepped on glass, but by the time I got out of the water the pain was so intense I couldn't even think. Felt like someone put my foot in a blender. I got treated quickly and thankfully did not go through the peak of it. For future reference, submerge affected area in the hottest water you can stand without burning yourself.
Molar infection. The pain was so intense I had to control myself to just not curl in a ball and cry. I had to take antibiotics for a week and then extract the tooth. It's like the most intense nerve pain ever, but it doesn't stop. No thinking, no sleeping, only the pain. Now I say I no longer am afraid of death, since death can be a release from pain, lol.
Had tubes in my ears as a kid. When I was 6, our new family doctor told me that the tubes had fallen out and that I could shower/bathe, etc. without my earplugs from then on. Mom was skeptical, so she just washed my hair in the sink that night, just to make sure everything was okay. Everything was not okay. I woke up in the middle of the night screaming bloody murder, because it felt like someone had stabbed me in the head with 1,000 knives, then set them on fire. Mom rushed me to the hospital, where I had to have emergency surgery to remove the tubes that were very much still in my ears. Thanks to the doctor, I had gotten water behind my eardrums, which had rapidly become severely infected. Thank God, my mom has always been one to err on the side of caution and didn't let me have a full shower or a bath that night, or it could have potentially killed me. Severe infections near the brain aren't ideal. I'm 34 now, and I still remember that pain vividly.
Bacterial meningitis. My brain felt like a contained explosion that was trapped reverberating in my skull, but it wanted out and constantly let me know about it.
Fractured my hip and had to keep working 12 miles with 65 pounds on my back. I bawled my eyes out the whole time, and another person was lifting the back of my ruck up to help take the weight off, but it is still the most painful thing I've ever experienced. Note, I wasn't allowed to leave the ruck or drop the weight. My DS said I wouldn't get credit for the ruck and would be recycled if I didn't carry my ruck.
Toothache closely followed by kidney stones.
Perforated colon with sepsis. Worst pain I ever felt.
I have a brain disease, so I've been a 9 or 10 a few times in my life. It's the worst pain ever, but it went away after a bit because I went essentially comatose every time after a little bit.
Rheumatoid arthritis. My knees had been so inflamed that I wasn't able to bend them for about a year. Had to learn to use the toilet standing up, even number 2. Anyway, one day I started to stumble, and I caught myself by automatically bending my knee to stabilize and not fall. It was like a gunshot. I passed out and woke up in a puddle of vomit. No idea how long I was out. Thankfully, I was on carpet and didn't hit my head in the way down. I've had 2 children and I've passed 3 large kidney stones. This pain was beyond all that. But it didn't linger. Worst I ever felt, by far, but only for seconds.
Oh my kidney stones.
Hit by a car, leg got pinned in front of the wheel and it basically ate away my ankle. First sobering moment in my life when I picked up my leg and my ankle went at a 90-degree angle. I was 9 at the time and knew I had fucked up big time. 11 surgeries, 2 months in the hospital, 8 months bed rest later, I can say I still have my leg, most of it. Ovarian torsion that lasted 3 days. Also, CSF leak after a spinal tap.
Got an IUD inserted, twice, yes 2 times.
You know what's crazy is my issue. Everyone told me it was normal for women. So what's been happening to me is that my organs are gluing themselves together. 1 in 10 women experience this. Endometriosis is horrible. These ruin our lives and the medical field really doesn't seem to care.
Gout attack. I am in my 20s and female. By all accounts, it's not supposed to happen in my demographic. But my dad has it and apparently genes outweigh all that. I kid you not, I woke up one morning and would have sworn to you I had broken my foot. It hurt so bad, and if I tried to stand, it felt like it would just break. Worse, over the next few hours it got to the point I couldn't stand or put any sort of pressure on it at all. Shoes wouldn't fit. Couldn't even stand trying to put them on that foot. Anything so much as a sheet brushing on my skin was pure agony. The best part was my mom telling me not to be dramatic and cry when I went to walk and nearly fell. Migraines are close behind because it always gets too bad I puke.
The filling fell off my tooth and the live nerve was exposed. I couldn't even drink water. Worst pain I've ever experienced, worse than appendix bursting, chipped bones, torn ligaments, sprains, the whole thing LOL.
Gallbladder attack. Sitting still equals pain. Moving equals pain. Breathing equals still pain. Not breathing equals surprisingly pain. Worst pain I have ever had. Was sent home from the hospital initially after being given some heartburn medication. Pain returned soon after. Went back and the hospital people put me in a back room on my own for hours, this was around midnight, and left me there. Took a couple of hours before they gave me some morphine. Small country town hospital. I think they must have thought I was drug seeking. The ultrasound I had a couple of weeks later showed they were very wrong.
Chronic migraines and a bursted ovarian cyst.
Pancreatitis.
2 herniated discs.
I suffer from cluster headaches. The first time I experienced it, I literally thought my head would explode and that I would go blind, because the pain I felt inside my eye was inexplicable.
Took a flight with a blocked nose.
Miscarried, blood clot blocked my cervix, I was in agony. They gave me 10 milligrams of morphine until the pain subsided enough for me to go home.
Proper benzo/alcohol/opiate withdrawal. It's multifaceted. Not only are you in excruciating physical pain, but also the absolute worst mental/emotional pain.
Sleeping and both my legs spazzed out at the same time. Like the entire leg. Calf, quads, hamstrings, feet tendons, everything. Lasted like 20 minutes straight, and it's probably nothing compared to some of these things under the comment, but the best way I could describe it is it was like my body just randomly decided to tear off my legs muscle one by one, piece by piece, little by little, and for no reason.
I have chronic migraines, and over the years a few have sent me to the hospital to make sure it wasn't actually a stroke or aneurysm or something else. They always say worst headache of your life is a warning sign and all, so it gets dicey sometimes. The worst one I've ever had was in January of 2019, 3 a.m., during a blizzard. Pain bad enough that I dragged myself out of bed under those conditions, managed to clear my car of snow, and drove to the hospital down the street. I don't know what I would have done if it was a long drive, because even those 3 minutes were incredibly dangerous. The pain scale is so hard to use, because, yes, this was the worst pain I'd ever felt. I thought it must surely be an actual major brain bleed this time. Like a thick rubber band wrapped around my head and squeezing my brain. I gave a 10 when asked for my pain level. I know that there are surely things in life that hurt worse, but I truly couldn't, and still can't, imagine what that kind of pain has to feel like. I was close to passing out. Folks who don't have migraines often don't understand how truly excruciating and disabling they are.
Guys, listen up. This thread was a mistake because I can feel it all via empathy. I'm gonna definitely puke.